Bienvenidos y bienvenidas. Welcome to PNN KEXU, Poor People's Revolutionary Radio at 96.1 on the dial and in Stokeland, Huchun Territory, and streaming live online at www.poormagazine.org/radio. This is Muteado Silencio con voces de migrantes en resistencia. In studio with fellow formerly houses Popo and Poverty Scholar, mi carnala Tiny, and you Poverty Scholar, Tiburcio Garcia and the ones and twos.
Who do you love? Who do you love? Me and my daughter have one tent left and no money for the rent debt. My shopping cart has no wheels, my shoes no soles, and Payless has no shoe deals. The shelters are all closed. I've tried so many times to get housing. My voice has no more breath or life or grind. Now I've joined the ranks of one of those. Who do you love? Who do you love? I won't ask for help because the doors are all closed. Does my life make you sick? Are you afraid of life like mine that doesn't fit? Who do you love? Who do you love? It's just a little excerpt, relatives, of My Houseless Valentine. Welcome to PNN, not CNN, people. That's Poor People's Revolutionary Radio. Because nobody else talks with us and for us, unfortunately. And we don't want no more about us without us. So this is us speaking with our own voices about this violence against our houseless bodies, lifting up liberation and actual solutions. Because as poor people, we know change won't come from a savior, pimp, or an institution. Change only come from a poor people-led revolution.
From the Nape lands to Yelamu, to New York City, to San Francisco, Frisco, killing, evicting, and resisting. On this podcast of Poor People's Radio, we speak with comrade warrior, poverty scholar, and author Dale Seymour on the recent murder by security guard of a houseless, disabled indigenous resident of Yelamu, aka San Francisco. A story that usually barely got any attention. And then we go to comrades from the Nape territory who has been working to keep fellow houseless poverty scholars alive in the deep freeze of back east Toro Island. But first, poverty scholarship announcement from our houseless folks at Hopefulness 2. Oh
my God.
Hopefulness is We Not Stealing Mama Earth is led by community black and brown people who suffered on the streets and didn't have homes, and basically who are incarcerated, and now I'm obviously home because of Poor Magazine. And Hopefulness is a peaceful place that we don't call no polarized, and for nothing we got family councils, and we try to help the community the best ability we can, because we know what it's like to be on the streets and in the struggles. Like, there's nobody like us, you know what I'm saying? Without us, about us.
Oh, thank you, you scholar Amir. While we fight, we build, and while the politricksters and the neighborhood haters call the cops and the security guards sweep us, every poor person they can get, even in the rain, we houseless folks create solutions. Today at 10 a.m. at 7600 Black Arthur, yes, I did say Black Arthur, a.k.a. MacArthur, in Deep East Uchun, that's Deep East Oakland, right down the street from Hopefulness 1 where we're here now. We unselling, decommodifying, and degentrifying another small part of Mama Earth, because Mama Earth is not for sale.
That's right.
Today we welcome in our first two houseless land stewards of Hopefulness 2 because we know there's an emergency on these streets. The second homeless people's solution to homelessness. Come through if you can, relatives. It's at 10 a.m. It's a humble ceremony, or watch live at Poor Magazine on IG or FaceCrack. And again, all love, all respect. But right now, in this weather, in this rain, in this freeze, in this cold, in this heat, they still sweep. So us poor folks need to walk a different way and operate with our honor, because we know we have solutions. Oh, Mateo. So, having said that, I am so blessed to bring in our first guest, a warrior, a speaker, a leader in the Tenderloin. If those of you who don't know, Frisco, Tenderloin is one of the communities where us houseless people are holding on by a thread, being constantly swept, who can't even walk, don't even be there with a blanket or a tent, because they will take it, even if you don't got money for the rent. About a recent story that just happened, unfortunately not unusual, where a houseless relative who's disabled from, I think, the other side of the false borders, was shot by a security guard, right? Which is so sad, too, because, you know, what's a security guard getting? Maybe $8 to $10 an hour? I don't know. A shout out to Banco Brown, another houseless youth murdered by a security guard. Welcome, Dale, back to Poor People's Radio.
First of all, let me say good morning.
Oh, my Dale.
You know, after we lost my mentor, my hero, Jesse Jackson, this morning early, the first thing I thought about your invitation to be on this radio show. 60 years ago, I was on a radio show in Chicago, WBON, and protesting the desegregation, or the failure to desegregate Chicago school system. Nowhere in my effing life would I predict 60 years later I will be on a radio show having to advocate for equality and justice in this country. 60 years.
Say that.
They ain't done nothing. And this is so sad how they use us against each other.
That part.
Know, we had a very unfortunate crime incident where a minority who was sponsored by corporate America and destined to kill another minority, protecting property. Concrete and wood.
Thank you. Say that.
And this is not the way this country was set up to be. And we're constantly being used against each other. While corporate America sits in Marin County and looks at it as a football game. They just killed another one. Score them up. They probably got a betting team against us. And again, this is so weird that I'm sitting here having to talk about something like this. In the city that our mayor is trying to present as the most wonderful city in the world, all of a sudden. But he's not talking about in the trenches. There's no Pacific ice.
Thank you. That part.
We have trenches in the Tenderloin where the struggle is going on. As we're speaking here, they're sweeping people right now at 7:30 in the morning.
In the rain.
Rain is even better.
Exactly.
Because they get the ability for them to sneak up on people. This is what they're doing. All of a sudden you turn around and they're there.
That part.
And it's just nothing they can say to vilify and justify what they are doing.
Ashe. You know, go ahead, Dale. Well, I was just going to say, Dale, that first of all, thank you so much for bringing in the spirit of Jesse Jackson, who, of course, also was part of a Poor People's March, right? Was part of that recognition that as poor people, poor workers, poor mamas, poor survivors, we're all connected, right? And yet, as you point out, they got us pitted against each other, but chasing that crumb, that little dollar.
That crumb,
Okay.
that falls off the table. And it used to fall off the table, but now we got to reach up and sweep it out.
Okay.
It don't even fall off the table.
Right.
It don't even fall off the table. And what Trump is doing, he's reaching on the ground, grabbing that crumb back.
Okay, that part. Okay, I'm sorry, that's not funny, but it is. Now,
But it's something to laugh at because it's so absurd.
okay,
To laugh at.
okay. Can you tell?
Be real.
Oh, for real. Can you tell listeners and viewers who don't know just a little bit more about the story of this brother, of what happened to him, this relative?
Well, everything we're trying to verify the facts. For some reason, this has become one of the biggest corporate cover-ups that I've seen since I've been in San Francisco. This is a security guard at a building called 57 Taylor, which is one of the major real estate organizations that just got foreclosed on in San Francisco. And there's a security guard outfit that's running this building, very drug-involved building. And according to reports that we've gotten, the security guard, who was not allowed to carry a gun, he was a convicted felon, had a gun in his pocket and got into a dispute with one of our disabled homeless members of Turk Street and shot him. Right?
Wow.
And walked away.
Wow.
And he was arrested by the police for first-degree murder and carried a gun fell in possession of the gun, fell in possession of ammunition, but for some reason all charges apparently has been dropped.
What? Wow.
Banco Brown, another Banco Brown.
Okay.
Corporate America runs the justice system in this country.
I'll say that.
We do not have a say-so in the justice system. Corporate America can make a phone call. You can meet the mayor, you can meet the governor, and the governor says, let me give you my number, Dale. The mayor says, that's not his number. Corporate America has a real cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have, I got the mayor's cell phone number. No, you don't.
Okay. Wow. Wait a minute. Well, can I just go down this rabbit hole with you for a second? Because also, Tibu, if you could bring up that image again, or the story. So this building, which you said is quote unquote owned by a company who just went bankrupt, is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, they were foreclosed on it.
Okay, so they had this security outfit out there guarding something that they weren't even quote unquote making money on. In other words, they were just hoarding Mama Earth again, which is I'm not to understand, it's an empty building?
No, it's cool. It's got about 150 units in it.
Okay, and they basically out there in front, security, quote unquote, securing it. And this person who was not supposed to even have a firearm had one. So what kind of accountability is the company taking?
Well, they've had issues with that building. And I've been in Toronto 38 years. For a building this size, it's unheard of to have 4 full-time security guards. They don't have 4 police at the jail.
Wow.
4 full-time security guards from the countries not to get full of race cards, but these people, security guards are primarily from Somalia and countries like that. And they have a different understanding of human rights and legal. That's only my take. I'm not pushing back. And I'm not trying to pull a race card. But we have to consider everything in an incident like this.
Yeah. And also, go ahead.
Our security guards are they're being taken advantage of. It's no different than when I went into the military. They programmed me into being against anyone that didn't look like me.
Okay.
Anyone that didn't have a uniform on like me was my enemy. That's how they programmed me. And that's how corporate America does the security guard.
Wow.
If some comes in the store with dreadlocks, he's a suspect. Even if the security guard got dreadlocks himself, they'll program him into the fact that if someone comes in your store with dreadlocks, he's a thief. You got dreadlocks, you're a thief.
Wow, that's so sad, though. Luke, did you want to add anything?
Well, just again, how is it that that this person that at the end of the day murder somebody? Again, the lawyer, the security guard got a lawyer. Did they say it claimed self-defense? How is it, or is it just this corrupt? And also we know that places like this have money and they might be going broke, but if they want to make sure that their name stay clean, they will hire and pay big sums of money to lawyers. They know the loopholes of the system to get away from what seems like what they got away with.
Okay, let me tell you about corporate America. There's nothing about them being broke. They are not broke at all, in any kind of way, shape, fashion, or form. This is how people do business in America. Donald Trump has quadrupled foreclosures, and he's one of the richest people in the world. Being broke and foreclosed on your property has nothing to do with each other.
Thank you. And that's interesting, too, because there's so much, you know what I mean, so much BS like that they release and that you hear, but you never hear about the profit margin that's made from every part of the deal, right? Because it's a bait and switch on the highest level. Can you talk a little bit, because I don't know how much you feel, what you feel about this, but just in terms of the policy that's going on under this new mayor, how are you feeling about it? Because it also feels like some of that playing out here.
Well, you got to understand, Mayor Daniel Lurie, who's a good friend of mine for many, many years, he's corporate America. You can't drop that unless you don't put all your money into a trust or put all your charity. You can't drop that stigma of being corporate America. I don't care how you try to be in the truth, riding through the Tenderloin, getting out and embracing a homeless person. Don't take away that you're still corporate America, bro.
Yeah, that part.
Corporate America, you grew up corporate America from the time you was born with the silver spoon in your mouth till today. You can't get that spoon out of your mouth. It don't come out of your mouth easily. I don't care how many homeless people you embrace.
Okay, that part.
Who can call Trump in the middle of the night?
That part. Thank you.
How many people, Republicans, can't even call Trump in the middle of the night?
Okay, and work out it.
Our guy did.
And work out a deal.
Right.
That part. Dale, can you tell listeners and viewers a little bit about the work that you do, which is not about hating and shooting and killing in the TL?
So what I do is I run several organizations for the last 20 years to bring up dignity to minorities and poor people in the Tenderloin that have no other way out of it. And what I do in the Tenderloin for homeless and poor people, I don't do out of Wikipedia. I don't do out of the pity circuit. I'm not from Pacific Heights. I lived in those tents for 18 years.
Okay.
Pissing on myself every night. Pissing on myself every night. Putting drugs in my body every night. Pimping these little girls every night. So I'm not talking out Wikipedia.
That part.
So when
Thank
I finally
you.
got my direction in life changed around, I had two choices like everyone does. Get the fuck out of that community and move up to Noy Valley or something else, or stay in that community to show people an example how you can get out. When the guy on the ground says, Dale, I don't know how to get out, you know what I'm able to tell him? I know how you can get out.
Okay.
If you want to listen to me or not, that's a different deal. But if you want to listen to me, I have you a way out. And we can't always do it immediately, maybe, because you got to get once you get, I was a heavy drug addict. Once you get, you got that drug, you got to get out of your body, but you got to get it out of your mind. You got to, it's like leaving your girl. You can leave her physically, but you need to get out of love with her.
Okay,
You
that
can
part.
leave your girl and still be in love with her.
Right.
You leave that drug alone, you got to fall out of love with that drug.
Okay.
Or you ain't done nothing.
That part.
I try to advocate you. Fall out of love with it.
Okay. That's a deep
Yes.
and beautiful prayer,
Yes.
Dale. Ooh, you gave me chills. As we closing out, Dale, I just want to send you so much love. And if you could tell listeners and viewers the name of your beautiful book. Go ahead, hon.
I don't promote the book as much as I should, I guess. It's called The Mayor of the Tudor Lord.
Okay, that part.
It's a story of a very broken man who had a lot of people help put me back together. I was, what's that egg that fell off the wall? I was Humphrey, whatever. Humphrey Dumpty fell off the wall, and people put him back together. And
That part.
the story of struggle, and it's a book is for people out there who's really messed up. Hopefully they can read my book and say, man, I'm nowhere near Dale Seymour.
Okay.
Maybe I can put my life back together. So hopefully it can be an inspiration to people. And I don't care how much money they spend on this book and how much it's done. If one person in the United States can get their life back together after reading this book, I'm vilified and I'll be in love with the whole.
Oh, that part. And you can get it on,
Thank you, Dale.
dare I say, a Monsters on, but I don't, where else can the people get it? Is that where they get online?
They can go to the market.
Okay, that part. Dale, we love you so much. We
Thank you.
appreciate you. Keep up this powerful work, and in the spirit of Dr. Jesse Jackson, thank you for always walking the truth and standing up for us folks that nobody wants to speak up for. So,
I'm going to try to ride down on you guys at 11 o'clock this morning at 7600 Black Rock.
woo!
Come on.
We'd appreciate that. We love you, fam. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
I'll
Okay.
live right down the street.
Oh, there you go. Okay, 10 o'clock though.
Okay. See you better.
Okay. All right.
Black Rock.
All right, Dale. Talk to you soon. Power of the people. You are listening and watching Poor People Revolutionary Radio. That's PNN, not CNN, family. I wanted to, as we get ready for our next guest, is he in yet, babe? They're not there yet. Okay, so as we get ready for our next guest, though, we want to do a couple shout-outs here. First of all, we know that our powerful teachers of Occupied Yelamu, Frisco, had that historic strike last week.
Yes.
And shout out to them actually getting that, getting a agreement for whatever it was. I know there wasn't everything, but it was a lot of things. One of the things that's really important about that agreement is that specifically, if people don't understand this, it supported what's called the para teachers, which are people who don't have that college degree, who teach from the community. So essentially poverty scholar teachers. That's deep, and I so much love for the Teachers Union for standing up for folks like us who never get stood up for, and making sure that they got health care and raised rates as well to live in that gentrified city. As well, who that got the impact on? Poor and houseless students, the poorest among us, and many of our community have gone through public schools, myself included, and we are not supported at all. Like, oftentimes lost in the system. So big love to those relatives. They couldn't come on today because of course it is Lunar New Year, it is the new moon, and it's a crazy day, but they will be on next week's Poor People Radio. The other thing I want to shout out to is Jalen Brown. People might not know because I don't rep corporate sports stars. Okay, just to be clear about that. But Brother Jalen, when we were able to infiltrate UC Berkeley for one time before they fired the professor who let us in to teach poverty scholarship, Jalen was in that class. And he told me, and all of us at Poor at the end of it, that y'all changed my life. I've never really overstood and understood the connections between, academia and poverty and how your voices are intentionally silenced, and you helped my development. So he's a powerful warrior. He also supported and threw some resources to us when we had none a couple years ago. He also got our liberation school, some shoes. So he was trying to do a panel in so-called Beverly Hills, another wealth-hoarding neighborhood of Tavangar, and this is what happened to him.
Talking about culture, talking about future, talking about leadership, and for whatever reason, I feel like we're being targeted. We had some cool stuff planned. My apologies to y'all. We had some great people. The Russells here, we got streamers here, we got other people here to talk about what the future is, and I feel like we're being targeted right now. 7 p.m. It's not 2 a.m. It's not 3 a.m. It's not 12. It's literally 7 p.m. and we're getting shut down. I'm doing a panel talking about leadership and culture. You know, so I don't understand what the reasoning is, but I'm trying to get some answers. But it seems like some people are already pissed off. He doesn't really have the answers.
You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway.
He sent the actual ordinance of Beverly Hills. I know I play for the Celtics, and I know we in LA, but hey, I ain't think y'all was gonna do me like this. So
Okay.
apparently we gotta get up out of here. We're about to shut it down. I appreciate y'all. Apologize.
So,
For y'all streaming around the world. My man right here, officer, he was the one in charge. So he's the one that's shutting us down at 7 p.m. I guess I'm gonna see you guys next time, man.
So yeah, shout out to Jalen. Always moving with peace, always moving with humility, and also living in that world of corporate sports. But as you already know, as Uncle Bilal says, I guess he didn't have complexion protection in one of the whitest and biggest wealth hoarding neighborhoods of Tavangar. Shout out to our relatives at Edna Street. Shout out to our relatives in reclaiming our homes, and all the other poor and houseless warriors down in that occupied territory, that settler town, who are standing up always for us poor folks, us poor tenants, us poor survivors. So we are blessed to have a beautiful warrior, a liberator, a couple comrades from occupied Lenape territory, who, as we sit inside this humble Poor People Radio studio, the rain is pouring down, and like Brother Dale said, and like we know every day, and like I experienced when I was on the street, they still put on these sweeps. You could be snowing in the 0 below, and they still sweeping us like we trash. So these relatives from Lenape territory, that's NYC, are constantly working to try to support relatives so that they don't die in this deep freeze. Welcome, Rant Refuse relatives from Lenape. So happy that you're here, fam. Welcome to Poor People's Radio. Hold up. Oh, you gotta unmute, family. Okay. Hey, family, can you introduce yourselves? Just tell us a little bit about what you all do.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure if my comrade Eduardo Ventura was able to join us, but he was gonna jump on the call from a different location. I think he's on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Eduardo and I are part of like a loosely affiliated network of housed and unhoused New Yorkers who are trying to build solidarity between, folks coming from different backgrounds, just to make sure that we all have homes. And it's such a struggle in New York City. It's the gentrification is out of control. Longtime New Yorkers, mainly of color, have been displaced from, historically black and brown neighborhoods. That's happening everywhere around the country. But it's really transformed New York City into a place that people don't recognize anymore. And the people that are facing the brunt of it, they're on the street right now, they're in the shelters, and they're in the jails, unfortunately.
That part. Yeah, same here. I mean, that's what's happening with all these corporate cities, to be real, these settler towns, eradicating us, essentially. That's really what it comes down to. So we aren't even there, erasing us. I just want to send y'all some love, too, for doing the work that you do. Can you tell listeners and viewers a little bit about what's happening in this cold When poor folks like us end up on the street, then what happens?
So, New York City, unlike a lot of places across the country, has right to shelter. So anyone who seeks it has access to shelter, but the majority of beds that are available in New York, there's like 100,000 plus beds, but the majority of them are in congregate shelters that are very, very, very carceral. If anybody has spent time in carceral settings, it has the same, environment. It's like all these cots in a space, people on top of each other, and folks that, the jail to homelessness pipeline is very real. So when you come out of that environment, then they try to put you back in there because you don't have a home to go to. It's just it puts you back in that mindset where it can become a very dangerous and volatile place to be. So, like at least 5,000 New Yorkers choose the streets, even though they have access, because it's not a dignified place for them to live. It's not a safe place for them to live, and there really is no path. Like, it's very rare that you go from the shelter system into a state-supported apartment situation. So right now, people on the street, and we've just been hit with like a historically unheard of in decades cold streak. We had several weeks of like freezing temperature. I mean, not just like below 32 degrees. It was like 5 degrees. It was like the real feel was like below zero. And we had 19 deaths of people on the street. And just to draw like a line that it's not just people on the street that are suffering. 7 people died, froze to death in their homes because they live in housing situations that are unsafe too. So it's a real struggle for New Yorkers, even if you're housed or unhoused. Like half the population, like 4 million people, cannot afford to pay rent every month. They're facing eviction at some point if they can't like come up with their rent.
Wow.
It's a crisis, and it's gonna explode where we don't know what's gonna happen, but we feel like the direction it's happening in the city, and it seems like across the country, is they're pushing people into these like carceral housing situations. Like I see like detention camps. I see like what we're seeing, like, everyone says that, like, look at Gaza. And I can see that happening here, like open air prisons.
Thank you. Well, for real though, one of our poverty scholar elders was part of, like, he considers himself a hobo. He ran the trains back in the day, Hawaiian brother, and he's one of our reporters for Poor People's Radio. And the last time he was on, he talked about this detention center, this prison that they build in right now with the Cracker Monsters, funding, and also just this settler colonial terror of this country, which actually is, yes, Hassa, yes, Palestine, but it's in Salt Lake City, Utah, where they used to support relatives who were houseless. Hobos used to say that was a place to go because they'd always get a hot meal. But now their hot meal is a prison deal. And it's something like crazy, like 5,000 beds or some, insane thing like that, right? So yeah, they're already doing it. It's slated to open already. So you're not exaggerating. I also just want to lift up that your Instascam page is called Refuse Rent, and part of our thing at Homefulness here is we have rent-free forever housing, because we know that rent is another aspect of us being on the street. Before we were on the street, we had a roof. I just wanted you to talk a little bit about, you said about the rents are going too high. I gotta bring it up, because, you know, I don't have one opinion about this or another. We're not in your territory, but is the new mayor helping y'all out? Is that really happening? What's that looking like?
I mean, I would say, like, optically speaking, yes, he's saying all the right things. He did put a stop to sweeps, or maybe it's a pause. We don't know yet. He just came in at January 1st, and it just made sense for him, because the data showed that, like, the sweeps in New York City was a failed policy from the beginning. Like, thousands of sweeps every year, displacing people from their encampments. Only 5% chose to go into a shelter placement, and nobody stayed there longer than a few days. Mm-hmm. So, like, Eric Adams, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's a former police officer, you know, a fascist. He was like, his whole campaign was to become mayor, was targeting the homeless, demonizing the homeless. Yeah. And as soon as he got in, that's what he did. He delivered on his campaign promises to make their life hell. And you know, it's just it did not do anything to decrease the street homeless population. There are more street homeless people right now than when he came into your office. The only thing he really was trying to do was to make them more invisible. You know, if people don't have their tents, if people are scared to, like, find a spot to like settle, and they're always on the move, you don't see them as much. You know, if they're hiding, you don't see them as much, but they're still on the street, still homeless. So he didn't really solve anything. And you know, Zoran Mamdani, he saw all that data, and it's clear that he knows it's a failed policy. But what is he going to do to get people off the street? And we don't know, because the landlord developer lobby is so strong and it runs New York City. It runs everybody. It runs Democrats, Republicans, and he's not, like, immune from that. Yeah. So we don't know what to expect.
Ashe. Go ahead, man.
Well, I just Muteado here with Porn Magazine. I wanted to ask again, there's supposed to be folks, right, in these politician places. They're supposed to be creating public housing. Again, here in the Bay Area is the same thing. Somehow there's always something, there's always lack of funding to create public housing for folks, you know, and also, you know, I feel that they don't see it as profitable, right? What's New York? Is anything public housing happening, development in New York to actually house people?
It's like a scam, you know. Everything is done to appease the developers. Yeah. They're giving developers billions of dollars to build and build and build, and then, like, what they call affordable is still like above. It's for people who make like $100,000 a year. Yeah. The people who are struggling the most still can't live in those affordable units, and only a small percentage of the units in these buildings are for like affordable housing, which is not really affordable to people who need it, and the rest is to bring in more rich people, to bring in more transplants. Yeah. It's a terrible scam. We have like hundreds of thousands of apartments that are vacant, that they could put money into renovating those apartments, and they could house everyone right now.
Say that part. For real. I just want to pull out a point here, though, because to get clear, I'm always trying to educate, to liberate, because any listeners and viewers who don't know this, HUD, with its BS gentrification plan, which is what I say it a different way when we're not on the FCC dial, but sold the mortgages of all public housing across occupied Turtle Island on the commodities market back to what our brother here is talking about, and flipped them all into so-called mixed income or non-profiteer-led housing. But they demolished and destroyed thousands of poor people units in Lenape territory, in Philly and New York, just like they did out here in San Francisco, like they did in Los Angeles. There's only a few cities who didn't sign on to that mess. And it was called RAD.
Right, I remember that.
Right? And we literally, Poor Magazine was one of the few people who broke that story right in 2013 under Obama, our savior, and Julian Castro, who basically promoted, this is going to save public housing. Yeah, it destroyed it. And so the poorest among us don't got a place anymore. So that was no accident. You are absolutely right, bruh. And also, just to name it, I call them developers, because let's be real, that's what they is. Absolutely tied to the bloodstained dollar economy and to hoarding and accumulating. And yeah, they want to put us in all of those incarceration nations. As we're running out of time, though, family, would you tell listeners and viewers how they can support the work that you do? We love you. We're coming to Lenape with the movie we did, Crushing Wheelchairs. We want to hook up with you, too. That's what's up.
All right, yeah, it'd be great to meet you. Great to show you around and so you could meet folks that are can speak on their experiences. They couldn't be on this call, but I guess you could follow our page Rent Refusers at Instagram. We probably could use some fundraising. We do some distribute supplies, but we'll put that up on the page, and a follow would be great for now.
Ashe. So much love, family.
Thank you,
we really appreciate your work every day.
For having us, and be awesome to meet you at some point.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be there, and I'll be in May. We did this movie called Crushing Wheelchairs about the violence of sweeping us like we're trash. We already know that's what they do across this stolen land.
I was just looking at the post about it. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Right on. All power to the people, family. We'll talk to you real soon.
Peace.
Thank you, brother.
You listening and watching Poor People's Radio. That's PNN, not CNN, people. Rent Refusers, we just had the blessing of talking to them. Follow that page, support that work. Fellow poverty scholars and housed folks supporting each other. That's how we have to do it. We're just going to talk a little bit about the upcoming showing, the screening. Tibu, if you want to bring up that beautiful poster that you did. Shout out to Divorcio on the ones and twos over here, as an artist. This is a new poster for the beautiful movie Crushing Wheelchairs. You want to say a few words, Moo, on what's it about?
Well, just again, come and join us on the 21st, which is this coming Saturday, in North Oakland, right in the border of Berkeley, at one of the most radical, beautiful spaces, the Black Repertory Theater. And again, thank you to them to hosting us. Again, it's a community led theater, and we want to show this powerful movie that, as we're talking about these sweeps, is basically a movie, a ceremony, to also tell the stories of different poverty scholars and even how we end up houseless in the first place. And also it's a ceremony because we're honoring Luis Góngora Pad, Luis Temaj, Stephen Taylor, folks who literally, the sweeps in the system kill. And it's also a remembrance. And again, it's a story told by poverty scholars. Like my sister Tani says, we're not acting, we're living. This is all lived experience. All the actors, are formerly houseless or houseless themselves right now. And it's a powerful movie not to be missed. Again, that explains that we are not trash, that we're human beings before we became houseless, made houseless by the system.
Okay.
By, that creates poverty.
Okay, that part. And like we heard our relative in Lenape territories, we can't afford the rent. And no, we don't want to go into their prisons.
That's how we become houseless.
Exactly. and we don't want to go into their prisons. I mean shelters.
Right.
Shout out to our Wood Street Commons family as well, who are part of the movie. Shout out
Yes.
to all of our warriors from Self-Help Hunger Program, Auntie Frances, a powerful, beautiful, and amazing co-leader, also of Homefulness, a co-founder, and so many more. Come in, sit with us, pray with us. There'll be a ceremony, as there always is. Again, this Saturday, February 21st, in Black History Month, at 6 p.m. This is family. Please come out. There'll be food. There'll be love. 6 p.m. this Saturday to Black Rep in Berkeley.
So that's all for this edition of Poor People's Radio. To get a complete podcast, you can go to Poor Magazine on SoundCloud or poormagazine.org or wherever you get your podcast from. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, Blue Sky, at Poor Magazine, or at Poverty Scholar, or Poor News Network on YouTube. All power to the people.
And free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Oh, Amadeo.
Oh.